The silver scars on my chest pulsed with the exact temperature of a sovereign's desperate command. I stood in the center of the crystalline citadel. The air was thin and cold. Above me, the sky had turned black. 8 Vorghast dreadnoughts hung in orbit like vultures waiting for a carcass. Their shadows stretched across the floor, swallowing the light from the living glacier stone. The council members trembled. Their bioluminescent veins dimmed to a dull gray. They looked at me with pity. They looked at the alien warlord with fear. Adjudicator Xyler stepped forward. His chitinous armor clicked against the stone. His voice sounded like grinding tectonic plates. He demanded my body. He called it property. He called it a trophy. I did not look at him. I looked at Matriarch Silashin. She sat on her throne of ice. Her face was still. Her eyes were dark pools of grief. She did not speak. She did not move. I raised my hand. I traced the silver lines on my ribcage. They burned with a cold fire. No warning, I said. My voice was steady. No trial, no mercy. The adjudicator paused. His mandibles twitched. He did not understand. I invoke the right of singular audit, I said. The silence that followed was heavier than the ships above us. Would you let a stranger rewrite your biology to save you? Because he didn't have a choice. 3 days earlier, I died. It happened on a Tuesday. I remember the day because I hate Tuesdays. They are slow. They are quiet. And on this Tuesday, 4 Vorghast assassins breached the diplomatic perimeter of Ethelgard. I was Warden Elias Vance. I was a mercenary. I sold my violence to the highest bidder. I did not believe in causes. I did not believe in kings. I believed in math. If the odds were good, I fought. If they were bad, I ran. The odds were bad. I stood in front of the air, Princess Lyrada. The assassins moved fast. They were blurred shapes of obsidian and steel. I counted the shots. I counted the steps. I clenched my jaw. It was a habit. When the numbers got tight, my jaw locked. It kept me focused. I took 3 plasma rounds to the chest. The heat was instant. It smelled like burnt hair and ozone. I fell. The last thing I saw was Lyrada's opalescent scales shimmering with shock. Then everything went dark. The grave was supposed to be a permanent assignment. But I woke up. I woke up on a slab of glacial stone. The cold bit into my back. I gasped. The air tasted of mint and old ice. I tried to sit up. Pain shot through my ribs, not the sharp pain of broken bone, the deep humming pain of something new. I looked down. Silver lines bloomed across my chest. They wove through my skin like mercury. They pulsed with a freezing light. They were not scars, they were alive. A figure stood in the shadows. Scribe Phelan. He was tall and thin. His skin glowed with a faint blue light. He held a data pad. His hands shook. "You are awake," he said. His voice was soft. It sounded like wind through glass. "I should be dead," I said. My throat was dry. "You were," Phelan said, "for 90 seconds. I touched the silver lines. They felt cold. They felt wrong. "What is this?" I asked. Phelan looked away. He could not meet my eyes. "The Lazarus Weaver protocol is not medical," he said. "It is a biological coronation." I laughed. It was a harsh sound. It echoed in the empty room. "I am no king," I said. "You are bound to the throne now," Phelan said. "By blood, by bone, by law." I swung my legs off the slab. My feet hit the floor. The cold seeped into my soles. I stood up. I was weak, but I was standing. "Take me to her," I said. Matriarch Silashin waited in the lower habitation ring. She did not sit on her throne here. She stood by a window. Outside, the glacier city stretched out in spires of blue and white. It was beautiful. It was fragile. She turned when I entered. She was taller than me. Her movements were slow, deliberate. Like a predator that knows it has no enemies. "Warden Vance," she said. "Elias," I said. "Just Elias." She nodded. She did not smile. "You saved my daughter," she said. "I did my job," I said. "No," she said. "You gave your life. That is not a job. That is a debt." I looked at her. I saw the tension in her shoulders. I saw the way her fingers curled into her palms. She was holding herself together. Barely. "Why bring me back?" I asked. "You have heirs. You have a council. You do not need a human mercenary." Silashin walked toward me. She stopped an arm's length away. I could smell the cold scent of her skin. It smelled like snow and iron. "My consort died 10 years ago," she said. Her voice dropped. It became a whisper. "He bled out in my arms, 90 seconds too late." I watched the light leave his eyes. I promised myself I would never watch it again. She reached out. Her hand hovered over the silver scars on my chest. She did not touch them. I reached you in 3 minutes, she said. I used the weaver. It is forbidden. It is dangerous. It binds the subject to the royal line. It makes you part of us. I did not ask for this, I said. Neither did I, she said, but you are here and now they will come. Who? The Vorgast, she said. They do not forgive insults. They do not forget debts. They will come to collect what they think is theirs. I clenched my jaw. The numbers started running in my head. Odds, variables, threats. Let them come, I said. Silashan looked at me. For the first time I saw something in her eyes. It was not grief. It was hope. The council chamber was circular. The walls were made of transparent ice. You could see the stars outside. It made you feel small. Arbiter Kalen tapped his metal cane on the floor. Click, click, click. The sound was annoying. It was rhythmic. It was threatening. He is tainted, Kalen said. He pointed his cane at me. He carries the mark of the Weaver. He is an abomination. The other council members murmured. Their lights flickered, blue, red, blue. He is a shield, Silashan said. She sat on her throne. Her voice was hard. He saved the heir. He bears the royal mark. He is under my protection. He is a human, Kalen spat. He is meat. The Vorgast will demand him. If we refuse, they will burn this city to ash. Is one life worth the extinction of our people? I stood in the corner. I said nothing. I watched them. I watched their fear. It was palpable. It smelled like sweat and ozone. Lyrada entered the room. She was young. Her scales were bright pink. She looked at me. She did not look away. He is not meat, she said. Her voice was clear. He is my savior. Kalen sneered. He is a corpse that forgot to stay dead. I stepped forward. The room went silent. I am neither, I said. I am a soldier, and soldiers do not run. Kalen laughed. It was a dry, rattling sound. You are not a soldier here, he said. You are a pawn, and pawns are sacrificed. Silashan stood up. The air in the room grew colder. Enough, she said. The doors opened. A guard rushed in. He was breathing hard. His light was flashing red. Matriarch, he gasped. Ships, 8 of them, they have dropped out of slipspace. They are hailing us. The room froze. Kalen smiled. It was an ugly smile. They are here, he said. Give them the human, save us all. Silashan looked at me. Her eyes were wide. She was afraid, not for herself, for me. I looked at Kalen. I looked at the council. I looked at Silashan. I knew what I had to do. A Vorgast armada does not negotiate, I said. They merely audit weakness. I walked to the center of the room. I will handle this, I said. The walk to the forum felt long. The corridors were empty. The lights were dim. I could hear my own heartbeat. It was slow, steady. I thought about my life. I thought about the jobs, the fights, the money. I had no home. I had no family. I had only the next contract. And now I had scars. I entered the forum. The sky was black. The ships loomed above. They blocked out the stars. Xyler was there. He stood with his guards. He looked huge. His armor was thick. His weapons were drawn. Hand over the corpse, Xyler said. His voice boomed. It shook the ice beneath my feet. Silashan stood beside me. She did not speak. She let me lead. I stepped forward. I stopped 10 feet from Xyler. I am not a corpse, I said. Xyler tilted his head. His mandibles clicked. You are property, he said. You killed my operatives. You stole our trophy. You will pay. I invoke the right of singular audit, I said. Xyler paused. The clicking stopped. That is an old law, he said. It has not been used in centuries. It is still valid, I said. One champion, one fight, no weapons, no armor to the yield or the death. Xyler laughed. It was a loud, harsh sound. You are small, he said. You are soft, you will break. Maybe, I said, but I am here, and you are bound by your own code, are you not? Xyler stared at me. His eyes were black beads. He calculated. He weighed the options. If he refused, he lost face. He lost honor. His fleet would question him. If he accepted, he would crush me. It would be easy. Accepted, he said. The guards stepped back. The council watched from the balconies. They were silent. Xyler removed his armor piece by piece. He dropped it on the ice. He was massive. His muscles were thick cords of muscle. His claws were sharp. I removed my jacket. I rolled up my sleeves. I showed him my scars. He lunged. He was fast, faster than he looked. His claw swept toward my head. I ducked. The wind of the blow chilled my ear. I spun. I kicked his knee. It was like kicking a rock. He did not flinch. He struck me in the chest. The impact knocked the breath out of me. I flew back. I hit the ice, hard. Pain exploded in my ribs. The silver scars flared. They burned cold. I gasped. I rolled to the side. His claw struck the ice where I had been. Shards flew everywhere. I got up. My vision blurred. I clenched my jaw. I counted. 1, 2, 3. He came again. This time I did not dodge. I stepped in. I grabbed his arm. I used his momentum. I twisted. He roared. He tried to pull away. I held on. I drove my elbow into his throat. He staggered. He coughed. Black blood sprayed from his mouth. He looked at me, surprise, fear. He swung wildly. I slipped under the blow. I swept his legs. He fell. I was on top of him. My fist was raised. He struck, I said. I slipped. He fell. I brought my fist down, not on his head, on his mandible. There was a crack, loud, sharp, final. Xyler screamed. He thrashed, but he was done. He lay on the ice, broken, bleeding. I stood up. I breathed. The air was cold. It tasted of victory. Xyler's guards moved forward, but Xyler raised a hand. Stop, he wheezed. He looked at me, hatred, respect. The right is satisfied, he said. We withdraw. He stood up. He held his jaw. He walked away. His fleet above powered down. The shadows lifted. The sun broke through the clouds. It hit the ice. It sparkled. The adjudicator's ship didn't just leave. It fled. And I knew why. We had set a precedent. One human had beaten a Vorgast lord. The myth of their invincibility was cracked. I sat in the glacial gardens. The air was warm here. The geothermal vents heated the stone. Flowers grew in the cracks, small blue flowers. They were tough. They survived the cold. Silashan sat beside me. She did not speak. She just watched the flowers. You stayed, she said. I did, I said. You could have left. You could have taken a ship, gone anywhere. I have nowhere to go, I said. You have here, she said. I looked at my hands. The silver scars were still there, but they did not burn anymore. They hummed, a low, steady rhythm. Like a heartbeat. The silver no longer felt like a tether, I said. It was the anchor keeping me grounded. Silashan smiled. It was a small smile, but it was real. We are not alike, she said, you and I. No, I said, we are not. But we are here, she said. I looked at her. I looked at the city. I looked at the sky. It was blue, clear, infinite. I thought about the grave. I thought about the Tuesday. I thought about the math. The odds had changed. It turns out you don't need to share a species to share a home. The blue flowers swayed in the warm breeze.